Okay, what's going on here? What is his plan here? And he gets closer and closer to my door, and then he hits it. This video is sponsored by Frederator. Frederator is a great network that has been working with me for almost 2 years, and they have been known to be into more of a film and animation type of business. If you want to join, you can always sign up in the link in the description, or you can also go down to their website and go sign up there. So it was the summer before the 7th grade, and around this time, you guys remember my story about the ink in the carpet, right? So this is the events after this happened. So in the aftermath, as I told you guys before, my grandpa was very upset with me to the point where he was pretty much anything that I could have said could have just snapped him off. It could have been anything, and I had to be really careful about what I said for a long time, until up to the 4th of July that year. And this had happened about 3 weeks after my birthday. So this was around the May category, right about after school ended. There was actually a lot of times where I would try to keep my distance from my grandma and my grandpa, because it's just me besides them living in the house. So I had to try my best to keep a low profile for a little while until after I could get the whole problem fixed. Now, even though me and my grandma had finally come to terms with each other and were able to slowly start talking to each other more and more, my grandpa was planning to go do something, and my grandma was headed to go on this walk with her friend Maxine, or I call her Miss Maxine. So my grandpa was going to drive me to my Uncle Bucky's house, and at the time I wasn't very fond of going over my Uncle Bucky's house at the time because I was afraid of going over there, and I can't remember my exact reason for being afraid. I just didn't want to go over there. On our way there, my grandpa and I ran into a bit of trouble. My grandpa and I were driving going up a street. It was right by this Eagle's Nest church, and this guy drove up right next to my door. He was on the right side of me, and so he was getting closer and closer, and I just kept looking back at him, like going left and right, going, okay, what's going on here? What is his plan here? And he gets closer and closer to my door, and then he hits it. And I'm like, oh crap, what's about to happen here? And then he drives up, and he keeps going, like he's gonna get away with it or something. And my grandpa stops the car right there, and then he stops his car right in front of us. And my grandpa was already upset with me, so when he got out of the car, he was super upset. He was in awe. So he ended up seeing the guy, then he got back in the car, and we went into the driveway, sort of right in front of the Eagle's Nest church. And the guy kind of gets out of the car, and then my grandpa gets out of his car, and he looks at the bumper, or not the bumper, but he looks at the door. The guy comes and looks at the door too. He's like, ooh. I just look at the guy a little bit for a second, then I just look back at the front of the window because I didn't want to look at him. My grandpa and him exchanged words for a second. He was actually kind of calm about it. I was honestly surprised at the time. And then my grandpa got back in the car, and the police came, and my grandpa's back started to hurt. Now, a few years before this, my grandpa had to put metal in his back because his back had been brutally damaged. I can't remember what the reason was. I don't even know if I was born yet when this happened. I might have been, but all I know is that it was a long time ago, and so his back started to hurt really bad from the stress. So he went, I can't remember if he went to the hospital or not, but he wasn't okay at the time. So I ended up getting picked up by my grandma, and I ended up having to go to the walk with her, and I had been doing that ever since then, for about 3 or 4 years, they had this little race, and I was in 3rd place. I remember that. I felt so good about that. But when I got home, my grandpa was laying in bed, and he looked like he was about to die. I was kind of scared for him, even though I knew he was gonna be okay. He looked and sounded kind of dead. I don't know if he was being super dramatic or if it was like this was real. I knew it was real, but I didn't know if he was being dramatic or what. But he apologized to me about the whole incident, and after that, he stopped being mad at me for the whole ink thing. And so that's how that story ended. Moral of the story: even though you think somebody is mean, you know, scary mean, and they don't normally show their feelings, because in our family, for the men's side of the family, we don't really show our emotions very well, and we're not really good at expressing how we feel. In deep down inside, they have it. They just don't want to show it to everybody else, and which I can understand that completely, because I'm a guy. But yeah. So that's about it for this video, guys. I hope you guys all did enjoy this video. This is a strong moral, and I have been thinking about this video all day long. But I do think that when it comes to family, that you should always have a strong bond with them, no matter what kind of relationship you had with them beforehand. So, but some things can't be healed, and I should know firsthand. So I'll see you guys soon. I love you.
I look like a boss. These niggas be so lame. I'm running the game, and I want the whole thing.
I'm dripping in sauce.
She's on my neck like a boulder.
I'm dripping in sauce.
Yeah, I thought I already told you. Oh, ran my cross. These niggas they lost. These niggas they fake. Don't got what it take. Made $1 million overnight, damn, them shit was fake. 340, always bustin' right out the gate. I'm on the road, stay on my toes. Ice give me froze. Ice in that gold, yeah. Ice on my neck and I like it so cool, yeah.